A former Sony employee did an AMA on Reddit yesterday, and some of the information and responses to questions were very interesting, particularly in light of the Vita store closing announcement. As someone that's a bit of a geek for Vita history, as you guys know, it was quite eye-opening to read some of Sony's views on the Vita. So, what are some of the things he said? It sounds like he left Sony a little while ago, but when he left, Vita games were selling around 1,000 copies in their launch week. Given the majority of a game's sales happen when it launches, this was seen as pretty poor performance. He said that at Sony, we'd theorized it was the result of the quality of the games, the user base, and the rise of the hacking scene. The comment about hacking comes up multiple times during his AMA, and it seems like this had a big impact on Sony's views on the Vita. He said of the store closing, part of the reason is the cost and effort of running it. He didn't know if Sony was at the point where money they made from the store was less than the cost of upkeep, but he did say, "There's more to running a digital storefront than just keeping servers online. Payment systems require a lot of technical maintenance, and deprecated systems provide easy attack vectors for sensitive information. And there's a ton of work involved in making sure everyone gets their money when sales are processed." So Sony may still have been making money from the store, but their effort may not have justified whatever money they were making. He said that, "Killing the Vita has been on the cards since 2016 or 2017. I'd wager that both the store's shutdown and nixing the sales ability are steps to get people off the platform, just as the cessation of manufacturing cards and consoles." This lines up with what a developer told me about Sony considering closing the store back in 2018-2019. They kept it running for a couple more years fortunately, but this store closure was inevitable. I found this very interesting. As soon as firmware was broken in 2016 or 2017, it was on the chopping block, as in the Vita. After the nightmare that was the 2011 hack, Sony's terrified of the word hack, or any potential network intrusions. Prior to the firmware hack, Sony were fine with letting the Vita live on, supported by their third-party partners and providing minimalistic support. This attitude clearly, drastically and suddenly changed when the firmware was broken, and I don't believe we'd be where we are today if that hadn't happened. I hadn't considered Sony's attitude to the Vita being hacked before. I hacked my Vita as soon as the Henkaku hack was released in 2015. This is kind of sad. The hacking community has done amazing things for the Vita, far beyond what Sony would have done, but it's a shame to hear that this sped up the process of ending the Vita store. I do feel quite conflicted by this. We haven't been getting many Vita games generally, especially since Ratalaika stopped supporting the Vita. If the store were to continue for another 2 years, would that be preferable? Or is it better that the system has been hacked and is now open to getting ports of some PC and Android games? I'm not sure personally. I hacked my Vita, I'm part of that problem, but Sony would not have done any of the work to allow the use of SD cards, allow Vitas to stream to PCs, or allow it to be overclocked. So I'm not sure how to feel about this. I can see Sony taking this scorched earth approach. As soon as the system became compromised, then just do everything possible to limit the issue by stopping production of Vitas and stopping physical games. I guess it's just a shame that for people that do buy Vita games, and I'm hoping that most people watching do buy their Vita games and not pirate them, the people that buy their games will lose out on new content. In the AMA, he also revealed that the Vita sold around 17 million units. Sony has never revealed the Vita's sales, although they were estimated to be around this. It's nice to have confirmation. So it sold way better than the Wii U and PS VR, which also makes it a shame that they didn't put much effort into the Vita back in 2013-2014, as they've done for PS VR. On Sony's support for the system, he said, "When 2012 and 2013 sales numbers came in, there was hesitation to substantially invest in its longevity. When the Vita Slim and PS TV didn't help, they were pretty much resigned to let third-party partners keep it alive. When the firmware got broken, they started trying to actively kill it." On the PS TV, he said, "It was a half-hearted attempt to salvage the money they invested in the Vita. After the 2012-2013 sales, they weren't particularly interested in putting too much time or effort into it." He also said there were requests by some people in the organization to allow the use of SD cards and to allow PSN multiple accounts to be used on a Vita, but these features were not taken forward. He said, "Prototypes and even dev kits had either the SD or micro SD storage. The proprietary cards were as a result of hacking fears. We knew this was the case for SD cards, but the Vita did ultimately get hacked, and the optics of the price of the Vita memory cards really hurt the system. So I'm not sure which one is better, that they went with their own memory cards and hurt the sales of the system, or if they should have gone with an SD card and potentially risked the system being hacked earlier." Lastly, he also said that the PSP was supposed to get trophies until it was hacked. At that point, Sony didn't progress with that idea. So, lots of interesting details in this AMA. Go to Reddit and check out the whole thing. It's an insightful read. I was surprised at how much of an impact hacking had on the Vita, and how it influenced Sony's decisions. They don't respond or say anything about it, and they didn't ban accounts, so it seemed like they didn't care, but it really had a big impact and is part of the reason we're losing the store. Don't get me wrong, I don't suddenly see Sony as the good guys in all this. Even in 2015, they weren't supporting the Vita all that much. They've been bad at communicating with fans and supporting developers, and they've abandoned some of the quirky and unique franchises that made them great. But this AMA is eye-opening, and it shows there may be more nuance to the situation. Anyway guys, have you read the Reddit post, and what do you think about it? Have you hacked your Vita, and how do you feel knowing it had an impact on Sony's decision to close the store? This is a potentially contentious topic, so let's all be nice in the comments. On a separate, lighter note, I've been working on a series of game manuals for Vita games. I really miss game manuals and thought it might be fun to try and make some myself. You can check out the link in the description of my video. So guys, leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.